Hello again, I'm Larry Hamilton. Welcome to my YouTube painting channel. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to do an oil painting, and I'm going to surprise my collaborators with this oil painting. We completed a painting a few weeks ago, but one of our members had some health problems in his family and we had to delay uploading the videos. So you will see me paint this still life in watercolor, and I thought today I would just redo it in oils to see if I could do it. And by the time you see this, probably the watercolor will be uploaded and you'll be able to see it, and I will upload this one a little later. So anyway, the scene is the same. I took 3 photographs of some still lifes of a painter that I really admire, Chong Wong, and I have sort of cobbled together a new painting. Some artists call this a Frankenstein painting, where you take parts of one painting and another painting and another painting and put them together in a composition. So that's the same composition I used for my watercolor version of this, and I'm going to do it in oils today. I'm going to also change the temperature of it. Instead of a high-key painting, which I did in watercolor, I'm going to do a low-key painting, which means it's going to have a dark background and the objects will tend to pop out of the background more. I'm also changing today the type of board I'm painting on. I'm actually painting on a hardboard. It's not canvas, and so there will be a little bit of difference in the way the paint works and the way the brushes work here. But I'm going to, I always like to challenge myself with a little something different each time, just to make it interesting and keep me on my toes. And maybe I'll let you see me make some mistakes and maybe correct them. So with that said, I already have my sketch here. As you can see, the sketch will be on my website. You can find it in the area where I have free YouTube demonstrations, and by the link by each painting, there will be a link for the sketch. So you can bring the sketch up and follow it. I want to go over the paints and the brushes with you. First of all, the brushes. I'm using several Trekel brushes, TREKELL.com. They're a synthetic mongoose type of brush. I have a 16 filbert, 10 filbert, and number 6 filbert. I have a number 12 flat, number 4 flat, and number 2 flat. And then I have some of my Bob Ross brushes, which I still use. I have a little blender, or a fan brush here that's not very fanned out, but it's certainly very usable. I have the big wide 1-inch blender that Bob Ross has, and I have my script liner, as well as a couple of painting knives. This is a standard Bob Ross painting knife you've seen before. It's a number 5 painting knife, and I have another a Master Touch palette knife that I may use for this. I'm not sure. I may not use all these brushes, but I have them available. All right, let me go over the paints very quickly. Here we have, these are Bob Ross paints again, and I have titanium white, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, midnight black, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna, alizarin crimson, sap green, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and bright red. And I also have added a Grumbacher ultra violet here for some extra darks. All right, so I think that's all I want to explain to you. And I'm going to make sure I have my camera set up here. I have to do my camera work as well as my painting, as well as my light work. Okay, so I have a hardboard here that's actually covered with gray gesso, and I have used my white charcoal white pencil to draw the sketch. And I had a grid. I laid a grid out over it, and so I was able to try to get them aligned the same as I did on the watercolor version. So with that said, I think I want to get going. Let me get just a little bit of liquid out here. I may need some liquid, I don't know, but I'm going to put a little bit on my paper plate here so that I have it available. Liquid helps the drying time. It actually speeds up the drying time a little bit, and I think that'll probably enough for now. All right, and it helps the paint go on easier. I seem to use it more with the canvas than I do with maybe this hardboard here. But let's get going. I'm going to pick up my big old 16 treacle brush here, and I think I'm going to just start laying in some background on this. The background can be any really dark color, so I'm going to pick a combination of my blacks and blues and browns. Just start up here and start putting in some color to get it going. Mixtures of blacks, browns, reds. You can see how this goes on a lot different than on canvas. Canvas tends to soak up a lot of paint, and this tends to just kind of lay on top of the surface here. So you need to use a lot more paint, a lot thicker paint, and so I'm just mixing different colors in this brush and letting them go on. Brown, midnight black, dark sienna, added some alizarin to that over there on the right side to give it a little bit of a red cast. See, if I were traditional painters would most likely take this and take a very fine brush and they'd actually sketch this thing in with a sort of a dark sienna or a burnt umber type of paint, and use that as their guide. But since I already have my sketch on here, I don't need to do that. I can just go right into the painting action and let this thing flow. So it's going to have a nice dark background, and these objects are going to just sort of pop right out of it. At least that's my plan, so we'll see how it works. Sometimes my plans go awry. I want to make sure I have this background reasonably well covered. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white and kind of lighten up some areas here. It's a little bit too light, maybe. Go back and. So I'm just kind of painting around some of these objects here. I'm going to leave some room for these flowers back here in the back, and paint around the top of this flower vase that has flowers sitting in it. So this will be a surprise to my collaborators. They do their works in either acrylic or oils, and I tend to be the watercolor guy on this collaboration. So I tend to always do mine in watercolor, but had some time this month, and we had a little bit of a delay getting them loaded, so I thought, well, why don't I just see if I can, what can I do in oils with this painting? And so here we are. So let's just fill this little job in here. So if I'm not talking to you, I'm usually thinking. Left brain, right brain has to work here. I have enough left brain work going on with my cameras and my video and my lights and all that sort of stuff. Pick up a little bit here. So this paint's really going on dry. If you can notice how dry it is. That's why sometimes I pick up a little bit of that liquid that sort of adds just a little bit of medium to it to make it flow just a little better. If you like still lifes, I recommend you check Chong's work, Chong Wong. I will overlay the spelling of his name. It's a Chinese name, and it has definitely a different spelling than you would think for the way it's pronounced. So you can check his work. He actually has workshops, and he actually does all over the country. Plus he goes back to China, takes people with him once a year for painting excursions. But he really does a lot of still lifes. And I've been watching his still life work for probably a couple years now, at least. So paintings that really look nice to me, I try to download them, and I look at them, and I study them, and try to see how he does some of that stuff. And I haven't yet taken a workshop off of him. I've been scheduled for one, but I had a conflict that came up and couldn't make it, so I still have on my bucket list, if you will, to attend one of Chong Wong's workshops. He has a daily, he has been doing a painting a day, and he puts them on his blog and on his website, and so you can actually follow his work very closely almost on a daily basis. Except when he goes out of the country, he has a little trouble getting his work posted because of restrictions in China. But nevertheless, what he does post is very beautiful. All the photos that I use for this actually have come from him, and so I don't want to just copy his work exactly. I'm trying to copy his style in this painting, and so I've created my own composition out of objects that might typically be in his work. So that's my story on Chong. All right. So I'm getting some interesting colors in here. Let me see, I got a little bit of white in there that might be a little too bright. I don't want to. It really goes on dry. It's really a dry covering I've got going here right now. I don't know if you can really tell that much, but it certainly is not a lot of oil in it. Whatever oil might be in the brush is just getting sort of soaked right into the painting here. Okay, let's put a little bit of a few different colors over here, maybe. Browns and blues. Fill in the board. Have marks in this board that's kind of rough, so. Okay, that's starting to get let's get that background in so I can start putting the middle ground and foreground on it here. Flowers up there. Down here just a little more. Big brush, say number 16 filbert here. Okay, there we go. Let's stop, step back, look at that, see what looks like. Definitely have, you can see the objects for sure. Over here, maybe just a little more. On the right side, maybe a little more. Okay. Now, okay, I'm going to clean out my brush. I forgot to tell you the size of this painting is 11 by 14 inches. This board is 11 by 14. Okay. Pick up another filbert here. Let's see if we can start working on maybe this caraffe here. Pick up brighter colors in there. And it has some almost green. I don't want that green. I had used yellow ochre, and it's supposed to have more blue in it. It's a little hard to see that, isn't it? Keeps going back to green. I keep getting my blues and yellows mixed. Okay, I'm going to pretend that the light is coming from my left, so I think that's where I want the light from. Yes, I want the light from my left, so my highlights are going to be on this side and on the left side of anything I paint here, so try to remember that. Okay, now how am I going to get this silverish color here? So I'm using midnight black and some white to get this sort of a grayish color. But that's not the final color. I want it to have some more red and orange in it. So let's go back and pick up a little bit of this and see if we can get a Almost looks the same color as the background gray gesso here, doesn't it? But this is sort of a metallic type of caraffe here, so it has a lot of reflectivity of stuff around it. So some of this yellow and gray to give me a sort of a gold. Notice the brush strokes. They're going the way the surface of this caraffe goes. If this is curved, I want those brush strokes to mimic that. See if I can get too much red in there. So I'm getting all kind of reflected lights here and reflected colors and starting to see things that might be out of the picture that are reflecting in this caraffe. Even over here, there's a little bit of a reflection type of thing. So I'm sort of laying in basically the underlayer here. Okay. A little bit of shadow here. Okay. It's not close to the same color, but I'm going to see if I can get a little more. Really using this for the objects, not as much for the color as I am for the object itself. Got a big old highlight right here. One back there, some up here. Maybe one like that. Okay, I'll hold on that for now and I'll come back and see if I need to put some more highlights on there. But right now that's gonna do me, I think, for there. I got a little highlight maybe on top of this. Something like that. Okay. Stop on that. I've been using a number 10 filbert for most of this coffee pot or carafe, whatever we want to call it. Okay, let's take some orange here and see if we can get some colors that represent oranges. Using Indian yellow and a little bit of bright red and a little bit of cad. Let's see what we have here. And so these oranges are all sitting down inside this bowl a little bit, so they're kind of flat on the bottom. And I have the bowl there to show that. I'm going to put another one here. There's one. And okay, there's 5 oranges. And I'll come back and touch up those again. I want to make sure I have the base color covered, and come back and hit that in a minute. Let's. I think I'm going to get my clean this brush. All right, I'm going to pick up a little smaller filbert here. I'm going to work on this bowl here. It's sort of a, I don't know, off-white type of thing. It's got some yellow reflected in it or whatever. Let's pop in. Maybe put a few more shadows in there. Okay, and because it's going out of the light, we have to have some shadow over here on this side. And the bottom. Helps it look rounded if you pull up. Okay, now back in the back, we do have some darker areas that need to be highlighted. And lip there. Okay, that's helping those oranges stand out from the background. Okay, looks like I have a bowl there and some oranges in it. Have my too dark back there, maybe. Just needs to be a little shadow. It doesn't have to be black. Okay, now some other areas here that are between. I'm going to put some flowers in this area, but I want to sort of highlight this. Pull out this the difference between the bowl and the caraffe. And we're going to have some other dark shadows down here, so I'll be putting in some okay, that helps isolate that. Maybe even this other side of the bowl here could be, it's actually the top of the cloth that's on the table, but it has to be darker to make these things show up. Okay, now, how are we doing? I really don't like the green on top of my caraffe up here, but that's what happens when you make a little mistake. That may help some. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to take on that vase over there. It's a really bright red. Got reflections of oranges on it. And see how that goes. Let's take this medium-size filbert here and see if I can get it get the right color. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how do I get that color. It's sort of a ruby, but it's got orange in it. Almost too pink. See what happens here. It's very pink. So let's tone it down. So we're getting some reflection there, getting a little bit of highlight on the left side. The light's coming from the left. So we want to make sure we keep that going. A little highlight or two on here, maybe. There. Maybe something there. This right side has got to be darker yet. Sort of want to just blend it into that background so you can't quite tell exactly what it is. Down around this orange here. Okay. Step back, look at that. Highlights. Right places, wrong places. Okay. Okay, now. I think that's pretty good for those. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to see if I can pick up some more of this orange and highlight these oranges again a little bit. That gray is coming through the board or through the paint. You can see here how dull these oranges look. So another coat over them will sort of help brighten them up. Something like that. And we have to put in some of the shadows here. Over here we've got a shadow there and here. It's almost too purple. Put in some so when I put these dark colors, it's really dark under here. You start seeing these things start to pop out where they may not have stood out quite as much before. And we have the color of the tablecloth under there that has to sort of blend into this. So I'm going to see if I can pick up this sort of a yellowish, I don't know, ochre maybe. Pretty bright. Blend it back into these shadows. Okay. Blend them out a little bit, lighten them up just a little. White ochre. Okay, so it's a very dark background with a, move this up just a little. When I paint sideways like this, or when I paint so I'm not facing directly the canvas or the board, I tend to make my lines not perfectly horizontal. I usually don't find it out till after I'm finished. I find out that I had something going at a funny angle. That looks a little better. So I have to remember that to come back and okay, in here we've got more tablecloth. Okay. So this is a table, and it folds down. So we have the folds and some of the other stuff I want to try to put into the fabric here. Don't have to do that now, but I have really, since I have three different photographs to look at, I have three different kinds of cloth and folds, and this one's really all dark over here, so I can probably just darken this corner in. Okay, so I got the main objects in there, the oranges, the bowl, the vase, the caraffe, and I'm going to embellish that with some flowers and some leaves and some other debris and that sort of thing, but I want to go ahead and put this, put a little more of this in here. Again, this is going on very, very dry. A little dark area over here I'm going to try to paint in. Okay. Maybe something over here even. Okay. All right, so I have a place for my fabric to sort of drape over, and pick up a little bit of this color and see if I can sort of lay in a little bit of a dark shadow type thing coming across here. I like the looks of that shadow. Sort of blends in with the whatever's casting this shadow here. So it's got a little more light on it, so it's a little bit lighter. Okay, we got a few more dark areas here, a couple of things in here like this. Maybe one or two over here like that. Okay, so all I'm doing is just adding some sort of texture into this cloth so that it looks like it's not all boring. All right. Take this cloth, we're going to sort of darken it down a little bit, put a little more darks in there. I'm using my purple, or ultraviolet, which is sort of the complementary color. Let's fill this all in down here if we can. Get rid of the gray. I don't want the gray palette to show through, or the gray board, gesso. Okay. And let's put a little more out there on the right side. Okay, now, so I have a big table there, and I have some interesting cloth on it. All right. There, I need a little bit of that shadow there just to make sure that you know this is going out of the light. Okay, now, where are we? Put a few more highlights in here maybe. Okay, now let's stop on that and let's see if we can go back and start working on some of these leaves and flowers and that sort of thing. I'm going to get my smaller flat brush, I believe, and take on some of these flowers here. Let's see if I can. Yeah, this is probably about the right size. And pick up a little sap green here, cad yellow. See if I can get a bright green. I might have to put a little blue in that, I don't know. Let's see here. A couple of colors of green. Got a blue and sap green. So up here we have all things coming out that look like leaves and stuff like that. We have really bright stems coming up, sort of going like this. Something like that. Don't want to make them too overwhelming and too many of them, but I think my little number 2 filbert might be better for this. I don't know. I might have a little better point on it. We'll see. Like that. I do have to put in a nice little white flower up there. I'm going to use my flat brush for that. some of this green out of here. So up here we've got this flower there. I'm going to have another little flower here that sort of looks like that. Got a little dot or two out there. Pick up some yellows and pop in a few things here like that. Maybe something like this. Okay, now it's just all sort of abstract. I'm not trying to paint anything very specific. I'm just sort of putting in things that look like there might be something like that is what I was trying to do. Okay, now we have some other areas where we want some flowers. I'm going to put in a big bright orange flower here. I can get a good color. A lot of paint. And it's going to go right like that. And we'll put a little orange in the middle of it. Like that. Maybe echo this color, this reddish color. Pick it up and put a few more paint here, a lot of paint in this brush. Something like that. So I've got a little echo of this color, got a little echo of the yellow. I'm going to put another yellow flower over here that sort of like that. Maybe there's a little dot in the middle. Okay. These oranges have a little highlight spot on them, like right in there. Something like that. Those look too identical. Okay. All right. Let's go back and pick up some greens here. Get some it's not quite the green I want, but here. Let's put a few things of debris, maybe a little piece of greenery over here that's fallen down. All still lifes have some sort of junk and debris in the bottom of them here that sort of just help fill in the space. Look like there's things laying on the table. See if I can put in another little thing here. It looks like there might be a stem of some kind going out there. Okay, what else can I do with this here? Just trying to finish it off so that it looks like it's a little more complete, has a few more things of I don't know what this is. It's just a piece of something sitting out there. Put another little shadow like over here. A few shadows on the bottom, more of this and these. A little bit on the shadow side there. Too much. Yeah, so we start getting a little bit of that underneath shadow. So there's a number of shadows. You have a cast shadow, you have a core shadow, you have reflected shadows, and so these things all reflect on one another here. So you want to pull those colors over if you can. Remember to do it. To put some of those colors, orange over there, some of the reds over here. Probably be a little bit of something like that. Maybe brighten it up just a little. There. We do have a that. Don't want to forget. Shadows under here. Over there. So I'm just sort of finishing up some of the fine tuning it a little bit here, if you will. It's really dry over here. All right. Think maybe it might just be a little bit more of a shadow over this way that runs into that vase. Something like that. Put a few more things of debris over here. If I keep messing with it, I'll make it worse. So I need to just sort of stop here and let it go. But that's easier said than done. All right. I think that's about enough. See if I can get my name here, get a lot of thinner with some of this ultraviolet. Come right over here and block print my name. Why do I block print my name? It's a holdover from my college years, high school and college years. I was a pre-engineering student, and all engineers, pre-engineers, had to block print. So I just sort of kept that. All right. I'm thinking that might be good enough. Let me see. I think it's close. Has most of the elements I wanted in there. This background could probably be messed up a little bit with just some paper towel. Go in there and just sort of blob it a little bit. Gives a little more texture than it had maybe before. It was already pretty dry. But I'll leave it at that. I think that's probably going to be good enough. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to zoom back and say thank you again for watching. I hope you'd give this a try. Check out my other painting, the watercolor version of this still life, and also recheck my Collaborators videos. I'll put their link below on the below this video, so you can go right to their channel and check their work, and you'll see how all of us did this this little still life. And give it a try. If you please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and follow me on Facebook if you wish, and check my website for the sketches for most of my paintings are out there. And also, if you want to buy some of the materials, I have a link out there to Dick Blick that you can actually go out and see under Dick Blick's website. They have something called Blick University, and I've put up a couple of sets of paints, a few brushes that I use that you can just buy directly from Dick Blick if you wish. And there's links there for that. And I think that'll all I want to tell you. I do, actually, I'm an affiliate of Dick Blick, so I might get a few pennies if you buy something from Dick Blick, but don't worry about that. Just check the work out, and check my website. And until I see you again, this is Larry Hamilton saying so long for now. Goodbye.